Hello friends, Grandpa 55 here, and thanks again for tuning in. Today we're back playing Trainz 2019, and we'll be doing another session on the Jointed Rail Route Tidewater. Today we'll be watching Graham handling a large drag of coal hoppers. He's operating an ES44 AC. He's operating for Norfolk Southern. And here he is coming from the southeast staging yard onto the route. The first train of the day, we saw Donald bringing up the CSX grain train into the Tidewater yard. In our last video, we watched Jessica switching the Canadian National mixed freight train that Harry brought into the River Point yard. So this is our third inbound train onto the the Tidewater route today. If you like the color black, you'll like this video. We got 4 black Norfolk Southern locomotives. I don't know how many coal cars we have. They're all black and they're carrying some black coal. Now Graham's slowing down to the yard speed of 15 miles an hour as he's approaching the yard limit. Now he's on the left-hand track, and that's the Norfolk Southern track. The right-hand track is CSX territory. As we mentioned on a previous video, Norfolk Southern serves the southern yard in Tidewater, and CSX serves the northern yard. Now Graham's assignment here in Tidewater is pretty simple. He's just bringing this drag into the yard. He'll stop the train, uncouple some cars destined for the wharf down here at Tidewater, and he'll go back and hook up to the rest of his consist and proceed to all points west, going to the west staging yard. Over to the left side of the screen there, you see the very long lead leading down to the Tidewater port area. You can see there's quite a slope going down that hill there, and that's why that yard lead is so long. trying to come up with a way to generate a random way of simulating some cars need some repairs so we can cut them out of the consist, put them over on the repair and place track, and then figure out how many days they'd be there to get fixed up and then put back into service. Need to do the same thing for locomotive servicing, trying to figure out, routine maintenance, how often they're going to go into the engine shed, how long they'll be there, and then rotate the trains through, the engines through. So I'm still working on that plan. I've done a few more modifications to the route. I've changed the way the coal facility down at the wharf is, so it looks a little bit more realistic and the way I think it should truly be operating, but still needs some more work. I also made some changes to the no-name facility up at River Point, as well as the farm equipment importer. I made some modifications there as well. So Graham's approaching the end of the yard now, but he's going to pull this cut all the way through. He's going to be dropping off 20 coal hoppers for the Tidewater Railroad to service down at the Tidewater port. And that's what we're going to be doing on our next video. Trying to find some decent Norfolk Southern coal hoppers. I haven't found any that I like yet. And then we'll probably replace the CSX hoppers. So how's everybody doing today? Great, excellent. Good to hear it. I'm having a pretty decent day. Had a light day at work. I came home, had myself a good meal. Now I'm down here doing one of my favorite things, playing Trainz on the computer. So Graham has brought his consist to a halt, and the conductor's going to come down here and uncouple the cars. And those 20 hoppers are destined for the Tidewater port. So he'll spot them on the first track there next to his consist. If you watched the video yesterday of Jessica sorting the train in River Point, she's driving an older engine. It's a GP9 chopped hood, and the horn on that sucker is pretty sick. It's sound like it's on its last legs. Well, the horn on this ES44 AC is just the opposite. It's got some good lungs. So Graham doesn't have too far to pull forward to clear that switch. Once he does, the conductor will flip the switch and he'll back him into the yard track. Yesterday, on the other video of Jessica switching the yard up at River Point, I asked the question, do they hook up the arrow hoses when they're switching cars in a yard? And how do they brake? Do they use the regular train brakes so that all the cars are helping to stop, or do they just use the engine brake? Well, I think I found the answer to that online today. I think they just use the engine brake. It's one reason why they operate so slowly. Now, if you guys have heard anything else, please leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on that subject. I think if they were hooking up the air hoses every time they disconnected a car, changed directions, and all that other stuff that they do while switching, they would be painfully slow. There's a guy who's a real CSX engineer. He's got a YouTube channel. His name is DJ's Trainz. Really encourage you guys to look him up. He's got some excellent insight on how real trains operate. He does drone videos. He also has made his own N-scale layout, and he's given advice on how to set up and craft the scenery and scratch build buildings and all that other stuff. But anyways, he's got some real good insights there. And he tells you how the real train engineers operate the trains. So the air brakes are applied, conductor has uncoupled the cut of cars destined for the Tidewater Wharf. Now Graham will pull his 4 locomotives forward, clear the switch, and he'll back up onto his consist and go to all points west. Pretty simple run today for the video. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please leave comments. I always like to hear what your thoughts are. Any ideas that you have on how I can improve my videos and make them more interesting. Yes, sir, that's one healthy air horn. So the engines in this 4-engine lash-up are Graham driving the ES44AC. The second locomotive in the line is a GP38-2, followed by another ES44AC. And the one that's closest to us, that's going to attach to those coal hoppers, is a C30-7. And to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't tell you, looking at them on the railroad or on these videos, one from another. So here I'm assigning an AI route for Graham to drive. He's going to take the Norfolk Southern coal train over to the southwest storage tracks on the staging yard. Those are his commands down at the bottom. The first one is to wait something like 10 seconds, I think, after I gave him the command. The next one, that triangle, is telling him where to go. When he gets there, he's going to sound his horn. And I think that last one is to notify me that he's there, but I haven't seen any notifications when he does arrive. I have him sound the horn, that way I know he's over there if I'm over on the route doing something else. I went down the list and looked at those locomotives. It said the second one was a GP38-2. When I look at it, it looks a lot to me like a GP9 high hood, but I don't know, I'm just taking their word for it. Those are some noisy cars going over those track joints. In the background there, you can see the grain cars that Donald dropped off on our first episode. We'll have to give this river a name. I grew up in the Detroit area in a city called Trenton, Michigan, and Groseal, which is right on the Detroit River, right where the Detroit River dumps into Lake Erie. But this doesn't look like the Detroit area. So this would not be the Detroit River. So here comes Graham pulling his unit coal train. He's on his way to all points west. He'll be departing the Tidewater route and going to the southwest staging area. And as always, leave some comments, leave a like if you would like. Give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. So here's the Tidewater yard. It's starting to fill up. Again, we started empty, but there's some cars out there.